Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boss Bay Business Show. I am your host, Katan, and tonight we are having a special edition show where I get to interview Devron Lee, who is an author, and he is the author of the book called Chasing Purpose. So tonight we're just going to be having a little conversation to get to know him a little more, learn about this book and the inspiration behind it, so that you guys can know exactly where to head over to on our business directory to purchase his book. You can find it. The link to it will be in our business directory, but I'm also going to share it in the comments for anyone that would like me to send a direct link. So, hello, Devon.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining. I'm happy that I'm able to interview you now and ask questions about your brand and, what you're doing. So, the first question I guess I will start with is what made you decide that you wanted to become a writer?
Well, as a little kid, like when I was like 9, 10, I always used to write little short stories. So I said one day when I get older, I was going to write a book, become an author more. So
Yeah. So, what has been your hardest, I guess I would say, what has been your biggest obstacle when it comes to writing the book and finding your journey as a writer?
writer's block,
Yeah.
that's the main issue.
Yeah. So what are I know you in the past you've shared like a little insight on writer's block and what people can do, but what's your biggest advice that you can give to any creator or writer that might be experiencing that where they just feel like they're stuck and they don't know what to do?
Either listen or watch something that inspire, like give you creative thoughts. I would say.
Yeah, I like that. That's funny that you say that because for me, that's cartoons or like comedy. So when I'm in a funk and I'm stuck, I'll just go throw on some cartoons or a kid movie, and then all of a sudden ideas just start flowing, and I can start writing down a list of everything I'm trying to do. So that's really great advice. So let's talk about the inspiration behind your book. So Chasing Purpose. We talked a little bit in your podcast about what the book is about, but for people who don't know what it's about, could you give them just a quick little, snippet?
Well, it's a guy from the urban community. He found a purpose, but chasing that purpose, he come against a lot of obstacles get thrown his way, so he got to overcome those obstacles, and he want to be able to do that without throwing away anything or
Yeah,
having to sacrifice anything.
I love that. I love that. So that topic is common in the small business community because we're oftentimes trying to find that balance of like, okay, how do I take care of my business, but take care of my job and take care of my family and not feel like you're missing out? Because, in the past, I've had those nights where I've been working so much and I'm like, oh man, I'm missing out on family time or I'm missing out on going out and doing this. But, it's trying to have that balance so you don't feel like you're losing everything, which I think I personally have been doing better on. But I love the fact that you made this the topic because it's something that a lot of people have come to me and asked. And it's all about like people ask about that work life balance. And I think that it's really about whatever works for you, understanding, okay, I can take some time to relax and then I can take some time to work on my business. You can still do the things that you love while pursuing your business. Especially if you're making it about something that you love. For example, you love writing, so you are selling books. It makes sense. It's derived from your passion. So I think that, and for those of you who want to read the book, go read it and then answer that question for yourself. How can you live your best life without sacrificing the things that you truly love to do that make you light up? So now I guess I just want to go a little bit into maybe some of the topics of the book. So hit me with like maybe 2 or 3 topics or themes that are in this book so people can know like, okay, yeah, this is a book for me. If they like X, then they want to go and watch this book or they want to go listen to this book.
Betrayal, sexual violence, and
One more, please.
just recovering, like recovery from trauma.
Okay, okay. I love all of those. So what made you decide that you wanted to write about betrayal?
Because that's what a lot of that happens. Like just even in businesses,
Hmm.
sometimes people feel betrayed for whatever reason, and everybody handle it differently.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So in this book, are you portraying, um, the character that you're portraying, are they handling it the way you would handle it, or are they just handling it the way that specific character, would you say?
Somewhat,
So like a little mixture.
yes.
Okay. So we talked about betrayal, and then trigger alert for anyone who's watching this. If you're watching it with little ones, we are talking about adult topics, but you also talked about sexual violence and abuse. I believe was it emotional and physical abuse, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So what made you decide that you wanted to bring these topics to light?
because I know that a lot of it goes on in the world, and I know people that have been sexually abused.
Hmm. Okay. And then so we got betrayal, abuse, and then what was the last one that you mentioned?
Recovery from traumatic
Oh,
events.
trauma recovery. Wow, those are some really deep topics because I think we always talk about the problem. We always talk about the way it makes us feel, but trauma recovery and actually trying to recover from the trauma that that issue has caused is not a topic that we discuss enough. So when it comes to trauma recovery, what was your inspiration behind that?
Just trauma I've been through myself, meaning like just recovering from being shot and stuff. So it's
Yeah,
still it's an ongoing process.
yeah,
You never truly recover. It's always a continuous thing you gotta live with and move forward with in a positive way.
yeah. That I think that's fair to say. Like once you experience something, you can't take that experience away. Like you can't just erase it from your mind. It's gonna be there. So, like you said, trying to find a positive way to move through it, I think is really important. And I love the fact that you say that because I think there are a lot of people out there who go through something and they think that because they've gone through it, they blame themselves. They look down on themselves instead of trying to understand that this is something that you can work through. Because of someone else's. Usually, when it comes to trauma, it's not something that you have done. It's something that someone else has done or you have been exposed to that you now have to work through. But we don't always talk about that. Or, it's not something that's advertised in media. If you go put on an ad right now, you're not going to see trauma recovery. It's just not a topic that it sounds as pretty and exciting, but it's something that does need to be discussed. So for you, it's dedicated to your personal trauma and then that you're overcoming or that you have been working through overcoming. And then are there any other experiences or any other specific topics that kind of inspired you to create this story?
It's about also like family disagreements of sorts.
Yeah. Okay.
It goes on in everyday life.
Conflict, everyday life, conflict with family and things.
hmm and
Okay.
life with the police and things of that sort.
Okay. So I'm getting a lot of different it sounded really juicy, so I gotta hurry up and get through my copy. But what I'm getting is a lot of different topics on different spectrums. So we're talking about business and trying to run a business and be supported, the things that business owners go through with that. We're talking about political issues or things that we can be doing maybe within our community, trauma. These are all really big topics. So if it's for someone who likes those kind of topics, this is the book that you want to go check out. So what I'm going to do, Devon, I'm going to drop the link in the comments for anyone. If you're watching this video, you can hit hashtag play if you're watching the replay, and the link will be dropped below in the comments for anyone who wants to make a purchase or check it out. Let me just pull that up. I think I had it posted on your it's on the event wall. All right. So right now, the book Chasing Purpose, you can actually find it on Amazon, and it is on sale right now. Well, if you get it through Kindle, it's on sale for $2.99. But I don't know how long it will be on sale for that, guys. So take advantage while you can, because you can save 70% off to get it through Kindle. And then if you get it paperback, it is $9.99. So these are some really great sales. Take advantage. Let me drop that link one more time in the comments for you. Again, the book is called Chasing Purpose, and we're talking about betrayal. We're talking about, the ins and outs of trying to run a business and gain support, the things that people go through with family, the things that may be happening within their community. So these are really great topics that are going to be discussed in this book. if there's one last thing that you would like people to know about you and maybe what you're about, what's important, a message that you want to get across to the audience, what would that be, Devon?
Well, I've been paralyzed since September 27, 2013.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter your circumstance. You could do anything that you put your mind to. That's what I would tell the listeners.
Yeah, I love that. I love that message. And it's very, very powerful, very, very to the point. Like sometimes it's the mind that is stopping people from being the best version of themselves and achieving the things that they want to. Because there's plenty of things that people can, if I told someone to make a list of all the things they could do, their mindset, I will know their mindset based off of what they tell me they can do. You know what I mean? So I love the fact that you bring that. I want to say thank you for the inspiration because a lot of times it can be, your mind plays tricks on you, especially when you're trying to build your business. And in the back of your mind, when you're not seeing the support immediately or you're not seeing the results, you're like, well, dang, am I doing something wrong? Or maybe it's not that good, or maybe I shouldn't do it. So you have to keep telling yourself things like, it can get done, it will happen, do the work, trust the process, and stay consistent. So thank you again for your inspiration to that topic. And I guess there is one more thing that was on my mind that I do need to ask you. So we talked about betrayal. Do you have any kind of experience that you can share in the betrayal area that maybe you went through, you experienced business wise, and how did that affect you today? What did you decide to do differently?
Well, I would say that I was supposed to, business wise, correct?
Hmm.
Well, basically, it was like didn't give, but I put down a deposit of $1,000 with a company I'm supposed to be going in real estate business with.
Hmm.
So basically, whenever I get saved up a certain amount that I would me and that other company could do business in real estate.
Got
But
you.
I don't know, they went MIA on me, so that's I take that as betrayal. So
Yeah, I would. I would take that as betrayal too. That's that's nothing light. So when that happened, what did you decide to do differently in that aspect?
I said that I would, instead of just going right off with somebody, like paying $1,000 with somebody to do real estate, I would gradually work my way up to doing that instead of jumping out there like that again.
Yeah, I love that. So that's really good. That's a really good one. I wanted to share one too, just for insight, because I know a lot of business owners watch these shows, and it's good information for people who are just starting out. But I can't think of one off the top of my head, so I'm actually happy that you were able to think of that one. But we're talking about just making sure you're doing things like you said, gradually. Don't just jump into anything. Kind of take your time with it and make sure you feel comfortable with it, because if you start off slower and you feel pressure or you feel uncomfortable, there's a chance that's a sign to just go ahead and reel on back. And then let's see, any other topics of betrayal. Oh, I do have one. So I would probably say when people know that you provide a service and they gain insight information from you, whether it be free, whether it be discounted, whatever, but you're always there in a corner, you're always helping them, you're always supporting them in the area that they're asking for help. And then when it comes time for them to make the purchase, they actually go and spend the money with someone else who maybe didn't provide this same service with you. This is an experience that I haven't experienced in a long time, but I have had a lot of business owners come to me who have shared this experience with me. Like, you know what, Katan, I sat down with her. I did this, and that. And I walked her through this. I even gave her a pamphlet on how to do this. And then when it came time to purchase, they didn't purchase. And these weren't just like, a customer that, just found them on the website. They didn't know about. These were like customer, family, friends, really close people with close relationships that you would think that they would want to go and invest in that business. And sometimes they gave feedback, but a lot of times they don't. They just go and make the purchase with someone else, even though the person who originally did the work for them is, thinking that they're going to come and do business with them. So that is one form of, I guess you could call it betrayal, because everyone has the right to spend their money where they want to, right? But you also have to be able to respect your boundaries and respect yourself and say that you're going to charge for your worth. So that way you're not feeling disappointed if in the future they decide to go purchase with someone else. You don't feel like you spent free time and free hours doing consultations or providing services or products that they're not actually intending on purchasing. So that is one way that you can do that differently for the future for anyone who's watching the replay. So now we have 2 tips on things that maybe you can do differently if you've experienced these types of betrayals in the business industry or in any other industry that's similar. But I'm going to end it on a note and just say thank you again so much for allowing me to come on your platform and be able to share and talk about my business, Devron. I really appreciate it. And I love the fact that you gave me the environment that made me feel comfortable enough to open up about topics that I really talked about in any other podcast. So I just want to say a huge thank you to you.
Likewise.
And then did you want to share your, only if you want to, but if you want to share your podcast information so people can know where to find you if they want to be interviewed as well?
On YouTube, it's called the Black Lane Podcast Productions.
Okay. And what are the requirements if they want to be interviewed?
Or you have to be, well, you an entrepreneur or a business owner.
Okay. You have
or be someone specialized in a certain skill that you're good at.
Okay,
Or
perfect.
went to school for.
Are you still potentially going to be hiring for a someone to do an audio, like read that book for you? Are you potentially going to be looking into that?
Yeah, in the near future.
Okay. Because I'm going to go ahead and reach out directly because I want to see if I can do that, and then also if I could be interviewed on your podcast again.
I got you.
Okay. So yes, I will definitely be reaching out to you again. Everyone, again, this is Devron Lee, and his book is Chasing Purpose. You can find it on Amazon for Kindle for $2.99, or you can find it on Amazon for a paperback book for $9.99. I've dropped the website information in the comments, but just in case you lose it and you can't find it, you can always go to bossbabeblog.com, and his information will be there with his podcast, where you can learn more about him, as well as the actual link to his book to go and purchase it. So thank you so much, Devron. You have an amazing night. It was a pleasure to have you.
Likewise.
Thank you. All right, guys, we are signing out of the Boss Babe Business Show. And thank you so much for joining. I will talk to you all soon.